this is John Habermeyer with Synergy Builders, and we're here with Synergy Design Live.
Everyone, I'm Sarah Schmecko with Synergy. I'd like to back our guests, Ron and Vanessa, today. So for coming back on with us. Ron joined us last week where John went over concepts in regards to their addition kitchen project. And today I also would like to Colleen.
Hi, Ron. Hi, Vanessa.
Hey, Colleen, thanks for
Hi.
joining us.
So Colleen is a designer here at Synergy who's going to be helping Ron and with some materials and design finishes for their kitchen project. But we have an important message from a very important member.
Hi, Odin.
Hey, Odin. What
Hi.
fun what fun fact do you guys have for us today? Odin says, "Did you know these have fingerprints almost identical to humans? So far, no koalas have framed humans for their crime. Only time will tell." Back to you, John.
Oh, thanks, Odin. Thanks for joining us today. So we have a lot to review today, and last week we were mostly working on the layout and the floor plan of things. But today we're going to actually start talking about finishes. And I think I kind of hinted at this last week, and Colleen, one of your favorite ways of getting to know your clients is through Pinterest and being able to talk about finishes. So,
Yeah.
yeah, let's talk about that.
Pinterest is really great because it's a central location that you can really collect all your thoughts and ideas, but also it's very collaborative too. So you can add in ideas, and as I'm looking through it, I can get a good sense of your style and put in some of my own ideas that I think that you'd like. So I always like to get started doing a little bit of a preference inventory going through your Pinterest board. Thank you for putting that together. Everything that you put in there was it was very consistent, so that's helpful when we're starting out. So thank you for taking the time to do that. As we're scrolling through your Pinterest board and scrolling down a little bit towards the bottom, we get into more general kitchen space design. So I'm seeing a couple different trends here that you seem to like. A white cabinet, more with a simple design. Um, and then something different on the island, whether it's a warm wood tone or maybe an off gray tone.
Right. Yep. That sounds good. Right.
Yeah. I also see some great tile flooring and some gray variations.
Yeah. Yeah. The current tile in our doesn't work for us, and there's hardwood in other parts of the house, but I don't think we'd be able to match the hardwood. So with dogs and kids, I think tile would be the best.
Okay, great. Yeah, I found some similar tiles in some of our some of the manufacturers that we work with, and scrolling towards the top, I pinned some of our cabinet colors that we have. So looking at more of a pure white for the perimeter, and then for the islands, either that flat cut white oak is a nice warm wood tone, or one of the gray adobe gray clouds or a mist color for the island.
Okay.
In terms of accessories, so we'll get into cabinet layout here in a minute, but I wanted to pin together some accessories that we can look at in reference to our floor plan layout too.
Okay.
Countertops, I'm seeing more of a white countertop. Do you like a lot of movement in your countertop, or do you like it a little bit more consistent in pattern?
Hey, Colleen, what can you describe
Um,
movement?
Sorry.
Colleen,
Go ahead, John.
can you describe movement? What the difference is? Because sometimes, I think that that's important to talk about the difference between the two.
Yeah, that's a good point, John. So when we're looking at countertops, some countertops, especially a natural stone like a marble or a granite, they're going to have a lot of variation and a lot of pattern running through the countertop. You can get a little bit more solid and subtle with a quartz countertop, but also they can have some really nice and bold patterns to them as well. So movement refers to just the pattern of the color running through the countertop.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense. And right now we've got a lot of pattern, I would say, in ours. I prefer more,
I don't like anything busy, if that helps.
I prefer something more
Just left me. I don't know.
something
And I
more
pinned
solid.
that silestone one, John, in the middle of the page there. There's two right there. There's the silestone, and then there's the one quartz. They have pretty minimal veining in them, but it does give some depth and dimension with some very light veining to them.
And one thing I found. I'm sorry,
what are the benefits of quartz? Because we've heard a lot of good things about quartz. I don't think we've ever had it.
Yeah, quartz has been really the leader in the countertops recently. We're using it on the majority of our projects as well. It's a great product. It's made up of natural quartzite. And what the great thing about it is you don't have to maintain it like you do a natural stone, like a marble or a granite. It's a little bit higher maintenance. You have to seal it and maintain it, where a quartz, you'll never have to do that. Also the consistency of the quartz is what our clients are really liking about it. You're not going to get a lot of imperfections or blotchiness or anything like that. Granites, each slab varies a lot in what they look like. Quartz, from slab to slab, they're very consistent.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay, great. So we'll plan for quartz for your countertops then.
Okay.
And, just because I'm a natural stone guy personally, in defense of natural stone and, what most people refer to as granite, I think it's important to, understand that granite is a great product and, you can't replace it artificially. So I'm very neutral when it comes to the difference between granite and quartz surfaces, because sometimes you just can't duplicate what you find in nature. And so in defense of granite and natural stone suppliers all around the world, there still is a time and a place for natural stone.
Okay.
And you could find a really, really unique one-off piece that no one in the world will have. So if you're looking for something really different and unique, natural stone is the way to go.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just curious, does natural stone tend to be more expensive than quartz, just as a rule of thumb, or is there no rule of thumb there?
So it varies. So when we look at
different
countertops,
levels of each.
Yeah,
Okay.
and when we look at countertops as a whole, you're going to get your biggest ranges with natural products, natural stone, quartzite, a lot of different options. It goes from $30 a square foot up to $1,000 a square foot, whereas most quartz countertops are pretty consistent in their price and they're all very comparable. So
Okay.
there's in quartz countertops, there's just less of a deviation, both in quality and maintenance, and they're all pretty similar to each other.
I think our goal with countertops at the end is to obviously achieve the aesthetic that we want, but also be able to hold up with a family of 5 and
that
three
makes a lot of sense here.
3 boys and all that, like wear and tear, and just have that be as minimal as possible, but also being able to achieve the aesthetic that we like, obviously. So
absolutely, you got to have them all, right? If you don't have them all, then we don't have a product, or we don't have anything that we want to use.
As close as we can get to it, anyway.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, that about sums up. Is there anything on your Pinterest board that you want to point out, or anything that is a must-have for your space?
I do like the idea of not having cabinets on either side of our stove.
Mm-hmm.
I also like the idea of doing kind of like counter to ceiling tile.
Okay.
Where in the cabinet areas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a backsplash tile that goes all the way up.
Right.
Okay.
And maybe even, probably like a white backsplash everywhere except for maybe above the stove. I might do something
the pattern or something.
patterned.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll be fun.
Or I might do that whole wall where the oven is, stove or whatever, like one different type of tile,
Mhm.
something more fun. And then maybe the other wall where the kitchen sink is, consistent with the countertops and being
Got
like
it.
white.
So yeah, so these pictures right here, this picture, and this picture right here are kind of pretty heavy influence pictures.
Yeah, yeah. So something that just kind of gives the kitchen personality, but obviously something we can live with, not like a changing a pillowcase.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And one thing that's important is that, and I'm looking at this, and you and Colleen have been working together this last week, and she pinned a bunch of stuff, and you pinned a bunch of stuff, and a lot of these, if you click on the picture themselves, will bring you to the manufacturer website, and you can go a little bit deeper into these pictures on Pinterest. It's such a powerful tool for this collaboration when we're in the
Right.
design process.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only other thing, and there's an island I think we both really like that. I don't know how to point to that, but it's right there in the middle of the page.
Is that the gray?
Yeah, I think it's the gray in color, but it's like big and it had the chairs underneath it. If that's the one,
Yep.
I think we just we just want to utilize as much island space as we can, maximize.
Yeah.
We talked
Mhm,
about that a
mhm.
little bit last week, but certainly something that's very functional to eat at and just looks nice and is sort of the centerpiece of that room, the kitchen area.
And that seating at the island, it's a casual type seating that gets used more than any other seating in the space.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll plan for some under overhang of the countertop for some understool space.
Right?
Yeah, and the rest of the island I would love to use as much storage as possible.
You mean on the other side?
Every
Perfect.
other side of it, yeah.
All right. You guys ready to see some?
Especially with floating
Go ahead,
shelving or the
Yeah.
having
Right.
that open shelving. Yeah,
Right. Just to kind of make up for that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All righty. So, Colleen.
Yeah. So as we get into the floor plan here, we're looking at a 3D rendering. And during the design development, things can shift and change a little bit. So that's very typical for our design process. So keep that in mind that we try to get pretty close to what your vision is, and then we can tweak and change things as we go along. So especially with the island size we were just talking about, but as you can see, I incorporated a grayish tile floor based off of your Pinterest inspiration, a nice white perimeter cabinet, and then doing something a little different on the island. I know that you like some grays. I did a light gray. Maybe going a little bit darker would be great on the island too, to bring some more contrast to the rest of the space. So this one happens to be a really light, subtle gray.
Yeah.
As you can see, the open shelving next to the hood, just bringing in that little piece that you wanted to bring in. And we did a cabinet wood hood instead of an appliance hood.
Okay.
Right.
So then it would have an insert blower that would be installed in the hood, and it can match the island or it can match the perimeter. There's a couple things that we could do with that.
So does that go over our existing hood?
No, they would just.
Oh, it's a new hood.
It. Yeah.
Okay.
It is a new hood.
Okay.
Well, to be clear about that, it's actually two parts. If we build this out of cabinet material, there is actually basically the cabinet material that you're seeing is an aesthetic cap for an appliance that actually fits inside of this shroud.
You just build it as like a cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the wood part is. Yeah. In this particular case, anytime you see a wood hood or some of those really highly decorative hoods, they're actually covers for an actual appliance. Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did see a lot of apron front farmhouse sinks in your Pinterest too. Do you like that style?
I do.
Yes, I do too. We have a sink that right now is completely not functional. It's almost we tried to just change out the sink, but because of the granite around it, it was a hole to do. So we just left it alone. But yeah, what we have now is not functional from a
And
sink
something
standpoint.
that's like obviously durable. I think our sink is filled every day. So
Yeah.
something that's really durable,
And
but
deep,
obviously
like a
aesthetic
deep
too.
farmhouse
Yeah.
sink. Yeah.
Deep farmhouse sink. Okay,
Yeah, I think
perfect.
so.
Kohler makes a really great white farmhouse sink. The White Haven is the one that we're typically suggesting. It's a great style. It holds up really well. It's a really great sink. So plumbing fixtures are something that we like to really dedicate to its own design meeting. So we talk about faucet styles and sink styles, garbage disposals, things like that.
Okay.
Okay.
John, do you want to go to the layout and we can talk about some of the different cabinet types? So as we zoom in here, I wanted to just kind of go around the room and we could talk about the layout of the cabinets a little bit and making sure that it's functional for your daily life. I made some suggestions of things that make sense in a cabinet layout. So as we kind of start on that range wall, I included some base cabinets, and then there's like a skinny cabinet right to the left of the range. And I put a spice there, so it can be a spice pullout. And I pinned that in your Pinterest board if you kind of want to see what that could look like. It's that top picture in your Pinterest board.
Okay.
It can be a pull-out unit right there at the top, John. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So it's a really functional space to have spices next to the range when you're cooking. Pretty handy.
Yeah.
And then as we kind of go more to the right of the range, having a nice big base cabinet there for some pots and pans, that makes sense to put next to the range. You got your big stock pots or your pans and things like that.
Yep.
And along this, and then in that corner, we're planning for a Lazy Susan cabinet. So they'd be the spinning Lazy Susan.
Yeah, that's currently there.
Yeah, we have that now. That works.
Okay. I also pinned that accessory in Pinterest if you want to go back to it at all.
Okay.
So that door would open as one, and they would be two Susans inside of that cabinet.
Okay.
And then along the sink wall, that one, John, was scroll down a little bit. Yeah. And then we have the sink and the dishwasher. Obviously, sink and dishwasher go hand in hand together. We're always making sure that they're in close proximity to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Drawer bases and another base cabinet with a drawer. And we could talk about if you want more drawers or more doors in the space. Drawers are always great. They give you a little bit more division of organization.
Is there a space, because what we currently don't have is a space for garbage?
Yeah, so John, I noted that on the floor plan. I actually put it right across from the sink, and I put it in the island.
Perfect.
Yeah, great.
So there you can see the trash is located at the end. So you can scrape your plate off in the sink and turn around and put it right in the dishwasher.
Great.
And is there a spot, because currently where our the extra, what is the extra counter space across, like where would we put the microwave? Let me just get to
yeah, because right now we have the microwave not there. If you go to it's like the charcoal cement countertop we're keeping, there it is. So we audibled that, because when we got the house, it was actually like a wine rack, which we didn't love. So we actually kind of audibled. I don't mind the space of it, but that wasn't originally supposed to be a space for a microwave. We were hoping to just do open
shelving again in this area.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to keep the microwave, or you want to move the microwave?
And I was maybe gonna see if the microwave could go into the island, or is there not enough space there?
There definitely is. In the middle cabinet, I have a 3-drawer base cabinet there that is 24 inches. So if we want to make that a base cabinet with a micro drawer, we can definitely put one in there. I pinned an example of that in your Pinterest board if that's something that you wanted to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say so.
And John, you might just have to refresh the Pinterest page. It was more of a recent add-on to the board. There it is, that first picture.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is
This is actually one of our projects that we had done, right, Colleen? You had done
Yeah,
this
this is
project, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a kitchen in Batavia. I like to show this picture a lot because it shows how functional the drawer microwave is. You don't have to get down and open a swing door on the microwave.
Right.
You could put the food right down into it. It's really
Oh,
functional.
okay.
And the controls are on the top too, so it's really nice.
Oh, that's neat. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to be more kid friendly versus being, it's really high up currently and just doesn't function for all of us so well.
Yeah. So that would be a really good location right next to the trash can in the island.
Yeah.
And then next to the island, to the left of the microwave, I was thinking to put some roll-out shelves in there. So when you open the doors, you can have the shelves that roll out.
Yeah, yeah. I actually had to install those into the ones we they didn't have them obviously on our ones, and I had to container store it up. So yeah, that would be nice.
These are great, and we can choose which cabinets we want to incorporate these into. I'm also putting them on the pantry cabinets that are on opposite sides of the refrigerator as well.
Okay, great. That makes a huge difference. There's no, I mean, obviously it might be hard to say now, but there's no possible way to get a bigger refrigerator. If not, we'll live, but.
You do have quite a bit of space there that we could account for a bigger refrigerator. It would just maybe just pantry on one side then instead of both, or you can shrink up your pantries on each side.
Okay, so a bigger refrigerator, we would have to, it would obviously come out of the pantry.
Sacrificing pantry space,
right.
I don't think we want to do that though.
Okay.
Have you thought about a micro drawer or a freezer drawer that we could put maybe in the island or somewhere else in the kitchen?
Oh, like a refrigerator drawer.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of extra refrigerator space. We're doing them a little bit more often now than we used to. So it just gives you one drawer. They're usually 24 inches wide, maybe more common things that are
for
used.
Produce and stuff like that. Yeah, that might not be a bad idea.
Like a fruit fruit refrigerator drawer or something like that.
Right.
I mean, we have a pretty good spot for
that's
it.
A good idea.
Yeah, we have a pretty good spot for it right here.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or you can even, we can talk about where you want to put that if that's something that you want to include. I could pin something like that.
There's nothing on the other side of that, right? On that those cabinets, right there, on the end.
There is not. The door to the patio is pretty close there.
Right. So I'm saying we have the optimal use of like that entire depth.
Yes.
To use.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
And I'm just pinning a quick picture in your Pinterest board so we can remember to look back on that for the refrigerator drawers. Okay, and we'll move that microwave out of the dry bar area, plan for it in the island. Is there anything else that's important for you in your new kitchen space that you don't have right now?
Just space.
Just space.
Yeah, overall. Actually, just more functional space. I mean, there's space.
We're like on top of each other, just trying to, do everything because of the limited space right now. So
having a two-cook kitchen is important.
Yeah.
Probably
just
so.
If I'm empty the dishwasher and he's cooking, like we're not, in the same spot where we feel like we are right now. I think you said we were going to talk about like hardware and stuff like that at a different time.
Yeah, we get into more of the fine details of the design as we have a few meetings. So it could take 2, 3 meetings to get through all of our design selections and materials. But is there something important that you want us to think about until our next meeting
Um,
in terms of
I
the
mean,
hardware?
the hardware for me is an easy.
I think it's just like a classic farmhouse type look in terms of specific hardware. Either it's like jet black or maybe even a gold color. Just depends on what makes most sense as the whole look for.
Yeah, I did see a lot of black hardware in your pins there. So that's what I kind of rendered in the space. It could be a really nice pop off of the white cabinets too.
Yeah, just something clean and simple.
And I'm noticing your door behind you. You've got that barn door with the
Oh,
black
yeah.
hardware. So that's
Yeah.
nice to tie that all together.
For sure, yeah. But I'm trying to think. I'm sure I'll think of something after the call's done.
Well, and that's
But-
you know what, that's actually going to be common no matter what. Really, our brains can only handle about a half hour of this, and so
Right.
what we do is we collaborate a lot, between appointments, and some of the best tools to collaborate are going to be, our Pinterest, that we've already started. We got mostly done right now. Um, Email communication through, last week I think I shared a little bit about the Builder Trend portal and how we use that to communicate. So we have many, many documents of communication. And it's very, very common to have questions and things that pop up, and so half hour and then lots of communication between appointments, and we'll schedule another follow-up appointment, a week from now, so we can continue to detail things out. We're far enough along in the process right now where this time next week we'll be able to have a pretty accurate budget to be able to discuss that as well.
That's good, because that was my next question.
It always is. It's
or-
always the next question.
I don't know how you
Yeah.
generally do this, or if it's a one-off email or whatever, but I mean, just to sort of get an idea of where something like this falls out, just obviously, so we know that we're not.
Yeah. No, great question. And you're not alone. Everybody, even if we weren't on a live event right now, we'd be talking about that question too. And offline, what Sarah will do is she'll follow up right now. We'll schedule an offline discussion. I really
Okay.
appreciate you guys
Right.
being willing to come on the show and do a live demonstration with us. And definitely we'll have some follow up calls after this as part of the natural progress. Anyways, so we're going to open up the Builder Trend portal to you, so you can go in there and take a look at some of the selections. We're going to continue to collaborate through Pinterest, and we'll follow up with a detail appointment, be able to talk about budget, and hopefully get this project started for you before winter flies.
Okay, that sounds
Thanks,
great.
Ron. Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you,
It was
guys.
great working with you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time
Thanks
today.
for joining us again.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
And this is Synergy Design Live. Everybody, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
See you
you.
next Friday.